What's up, everybody? Welcome to Snobs podcast. I am your host, Mick Manhattan, back again for another episode. And let's jump into it. First and foremost, Lost Weekend has been announced, and I am a sponsor this year. So if you're near the Alamo Draft House, March 19th through March 22nd, get a ticket. It's $40 for the whole weekend. 44 films, special guests, the whole nine. Yours truly will be there. Going to be doing some interviews there, things like that. So really looking forward to it. It's a fun event, and I'm happy to be sponsoring it. So, Lost Weekend 13, coming up March 19th through the 22nd. I am also, this is a very special episode, I am joined by a very special guest, my friend, first and foremost. I'm legally obligated to say that first. He is a friend, but I have to first mention that. And he is a very talented, not just tattoo artist, but artist, painting, drawing, otherwise, and a graphic artist. If you see the new logo, which has just been put out today, he has done that. It is beautiful. The Snobs logo, very elegant, very classy. I love it a lot. So this is Kenny Varnau from Handmade Tattoo Parlor.
Hey guys, what's going on?
So Kenny, man, I'm glad I got you on the show.
I know it. It's been a few years since we've actually got to hang out, and it was good touching base with you again and talking and doing a logo design with a 10-month-old crawling all over me is exciting.
Yeah, that's the funny part. We're dads now, so it's like it's a very different.
Got this to prove it. The belly. The belly.
Got to get the dad bod done. Yeah. But no, we go back a ways. We go back about 6 or 7 years, maybe more. Because I started coming around 2011. I didn't move here till 2013.
Before you were a helicopter pilot.
Before I was a helicopter pilot, that's right. No, a helicopter pilot was like 2007.
After.
And that was
a nod to his brother, by the way. That's for another day.
Who hopefully doesn't watch. But no, so we did the last time we did a podcast together was the Mystery Elephant podcast.
Yeah, and that was 5 years ago.
Yeah, it had to be, but that was a while ago.
6 years ago.
Yeah, we've stopped doing it in 2017, 2018, around there. So so I'm glad to get you on the new show.
Thanks, buddy. I'm glad to be here, actually.
He's a fellow geek in the fandoms, except for Doctor Who. He doesn't know that it's not a telephone booth. It's a police call box. But,
Make sure you get a close-up.
But I have a very special tattoo that he did that I love.
Yes.
And he did make it look awesome. He made it look awesome by accident. So yes. I've always been very happy with that.
Yeah. Thought I did my research. Usually I just misspell words when I tattoo people.
The best part about that time, and I don't want to take anything away, he's very talented. He did.
Oh, you can take it off. It's
pretty much 90% of my tattoos.
Yep.
Excuse me, everybody. So he did about 90% of my tattoos. And it was his apprentice who did the other 10%. Yeah. Apprentice at the time. Yes. So... very talented tattoo artist. We were watching an episode of Doctor Who as you were tattooing me.
Yeah.
And that's why I was like, it doesn't have windows. And you're just like, yeah, it does. And I'm like, we just watched an episode. And I was like, and I picked an episode that specifically had the TARDIS like all the way through it.
So what the listeners should know is I do a lot of freehand stuff, which works 99% of the time, unless you don't realize there's windows that aren't there or not windows.
The very cool thing about it is you made it so it's materialized.
It is.
So actually having the windows there, it doesn't, if you're a fan, it looks like it's materializing. And I've never gotten
Nobody's questioned it?
No, okay. Everybody's complimented it.
Yeah.
So, because it does look good. I think I would have been more mad if it didn't look like it was materializing. But no, it was very cool. And you gave me my first tattoo. It was a Doctor Who tattoo as well.
It's bringing up your brother again. That's always a running joke with him.
Yep, the hash marks.
Hash
so,
marks.
And you were working on my Star Wars tattoo, which gotta get that finished.
One day.
Yeah, one day will be.
The rate you're dropping weight now, that will have to take a while.
Yeah. Oh God.
No.
It's gonna hurt.
I know it.
But yeah, man. I'm very excited. Kenny is a comic book aficionado, and I would love to talk about that too because I mean, you know me, I love comic books, but I pale in comparison to you.
I have a few. I've been collecting since I was probably 7. I want to say I'm 42 now.
Yeah. Well, you have a huge collection of a lot of things. You had the old C-3PO.
I still have it with all the characters, all the figures in it from. Well, I have a few from the 77. Kenner line, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
And then a lot of them from like 83 and 85, but they're all original. They're all the ones I played with and put Han Solo's head up my nose and got it stuck, stuff like that.
That is awesome. Well, let me ask you, I reviewed it on the show a lot when it came out. Have you had a chance to check out The Mandalorian yet?
I have. You'll be very disappointed though. I haven't seen the last 2 episodes.
Definitely. Oh my God.
I know.
You especially. Black Saber shows up. I don't mean to ruin it for you.
Yeah, no, you're not gonna ruin it. Yeah, everybody in the world has seen all of it, and yeah, it's hard. It's
You're a dad now. I get it.
New thing in my life. I'm a dad, so it takes me about 3 or 4 tries to get through one episode.
That doesn't stop.
Yeah, no. When my chick gets home from work, I try to watch. Or I'm trying to watch with her. And God bless her. She gets tired and passes out, and it's what it is, and it's a new struggle in my life.
Yeah. So. Well, I want to talk to you. I want to get a little bit of a background. All right, so we're back after technical difficulties, but I wanted to talk to Kenny more about like kind of your background and like what got you into wanting to be an artist and tattooing and things like that.
Well, 100% honest, I actually on the artistic side, I didn't want to be a tattoo artist. I wanted to be like a classically trained artist or a comic artist. Like I still draw comic books to this day.
Yeah, very good ones, by the way.
Thank you. Obviously, like I said earlier, I started collecting comics at a very young age. I lost count now how many I have. I have an entire walk-in closet full of long boxes, not including the CGC sealed one and the PG, whatever those are. But the tattoo artist thing, it happened by accident. I had a friend who ordered a tattoo machine out of the back of a porn magazine, and him and his buddies were screwing each other up, and I was, just happened to be at the wrong place at the right time, I guess. And I love it. It's a commissioned artwork in a sense, just more on a mass scale because I've been doing it 21 years now.
Yeah.
I have no idea how many I've done now.
Well, you hate when people call you master tattoo artist, but that is the moniker that you have now.
Well, it's the DPOR, the state of Virginia regulates tattoo artists, which is a good thing. But you get the master tattoo license or whatever so you can apprentice people and all that. And it's funny because when I go into like convention scenes and stuff, I'm not old enough to hang out with the old timers that have been doing it forever, but I'm not young enough to hang out with the black t-shirted, like hard, the guys that are hard and run around with not smiling, but.
Yeah, it's so super serious.
Yeah, so I feel like I'm back in high school again. Like stuck between two worlds of hanging out with the cool folks and then hanging out with my friends, like kind of thing. And I guess they were all my friends, but yeah, that's how I feel, So
I was just looking at the time check because I realized I forgot to leave a mark from when you dropped the camera. Technical difficulties.
I've gained a little weight.
This show is a lot of fun, and I don't mind saying that.
I don't care. Yeah. No, it's fine.
I did want to point out because anybody who listens, and we've talked about this a lot in the past. You being a tattoo artist, you are very into keeping everything sterilized, clean, doing it safely. So, and one thing I really liked about you when we were in the beginning, when I started getting, because I didn't start getting tattoos, so I was like 30.
Yeah.
I think you gave it to me for my 30th birthday. So it was, I was very impressed with how you talk things out. You were the type of artist who, it's not like somebody comes in and is like, give me an infinity symbol, and it's like, all right, I'll do it. Yeah. You want to make sure that the person will be okay and want to live with this for the rest of their life. Yep. I always appreciate it because that is an artistic way of doing things. So,
there's if you think about it, there's 2 kinds of tattoo artists. You have a tattoo artist who just throws a tattoo on you, or I'm sorry, let me back that up. You have tattooers and you have tattoo artists. Tattooers are, essentially the proverbial monkey tracing a line, without, I guess, offending too many people. What is the person that can take a line tracing and take a picture off of Google and they can replicate that on you for the most part? Yeah. And then you have tattoo artists who, art is their background. And unfortunately nowadays, with how much tattooing is blown up and how popular it is with TV, it's I think the statistics are like 4 out of 16 people had tattoos back in '89 or something like that, and now it's like 1 out of 16 or 1 out of 4 people or something ridiculous. I don't remember the true statistic on that one, but it's not taboo anymore, and everybody and their mother can go buy a tattoo machine. You can buy it at Walmart.com. You can go to Walmart.com and buy a tattoo machine, have it delivered to the store, and pick it up.
That's scary.
It's ridiculous, and I've been doing it a very long time, and I do want people to know that it's safe, because you're dealing with bodily fluids. There's so much that goes into it. It's we have to be certified in CPR. Infant through adult. I don't know if you have to be. I just go ahead and do it for the infant, or it just comes with the class. Bloodborne pathogens is a very important one. You don't want to give someone the AIDS or get AIDS yourself. And a lot of times I tell people it's not being selfish. I set my area up and I tattoo people because I don't want to get AIDS. So me protecting myself ultimately protects my client. So
yeah, absolutely. And again, like I always appreciated that, and I know a lot of people do, and that's why you were very trusted.
And I apologize a lot for hurting people. When I'm in the middle of a tattoo. Everybody just gives me crap about that. And they're like, oh, why do you keep saying sorry? And I'm like,
sorry, buddy.
Sorry.
And but when you're like doing a back or something, like I've been in a room, not me, I got my ankle done and I cried like a baby.
I'm polar opposite. Like I hate getting tattooed. I can finally admit that in my old age, but I clam up. I don't say anything. I usually find a spot in the wall and I stare at it. And my former apprentice, who's he's been tattooing a few years on his own now, works at my friend's shop in Leesburg. He'd been working on my back briefly, and I finally had to quit. We got 3 hours into it, and I was like, all right, you gotta stop. We gotta work on it another day, because I can't do it anymore.
That's a lot, yeah. Because I remember my brother, George, and he's your best friend, and he's my brother, so like we, watching him get
I don't know if he's gonna be my best friend, so I haven't answered his text yet.
Oh god, he's gonna be so mad.
He's gonna be so mad.
I texted you an hour ago.
I saw that.
And he's gonna watch or listen to this and be pissed.
I know.
We love you, George.
On the benefit of the doubt, it is a 1% down here in your basement, so.
Oh, it's
or one
terrible.
Yeah.
You to live around cattle ranches.
Yeah.
Is nice.
Oh yeah.
You're surrounded and nobody knows you're here.
We don't call them ranches around here.
What do you call them?
We call them farms.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, they're just farms.
I don't know.
Yeah. I grew up on a farm. So.
TV has me thinking like ranches.
See, when I imagine a ranch, it's like, it's, like ranch, like somewhere out in Montana. And, I mean, there is thousands upon thousands of acres right here, but it's like, it's to me, it's like a whole open plain versus all the little, I wouldn't even call them mountains. They're more hills. Yeah. But, if you go out west or something, those are mountains.
Like West Virginia?
Yeah. Man, that's it's ironic that you say that. I was on my way to Oregon one year, and I passed by Mount Hood, and it was the biggest mountain in the world that I couldn't imagine. You see them on TV. Yeah. It's like, I mean, you lived in LA for a while, all those mountains up the west coast. It's like, those are mountains.
Oh, yeah.
You come back here, and it's like, oh, that's a hill. It's a hill that you don't want to have to walk up, but...
It's very true.
Yeah, it's a hill.
Well, no, it's funny because you mentioned that, because I think like we just Mary just rewatched The Ranch.
Yeah.
The Ashton Kutcher
last season. Yeah.
And I had watched it previously, and then she just got into it. Yeah. I know she watched the whole thing from beginning to end.
Oh, it was like binge watched it?
Oh yeah, it took her like a week, and she just got it done. And then that's why I was like, oh, so it's cattle ranches. That's what they call them, and it's horse farms. Like, but yeah, I guess that's true. It is.
I got a little mad, when they killed off Rooster.
Well, they had to. You raped somebody.
Well, they allegedly. But he's also, come out like, I was cleared of all that, and Hollywood, blah blah blah. Latest news of that though, the girlfriend or the wife of Ashton Kutcher on the show, I guess her boyfriend almost got killed in some car wreck or something. That was today.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Actually, it was funny you mentioned it. Not the car wreck. We hope her husband gets better.
Yeah.
The last information I got from that was, supposedly, allegedly, because we're on a podcast.
Yeah.
He and his Scientology buddies, Danny Masterson, the girl who accused him of rape, they murdered her dog with poison. Like a vet analyzed the blood, and there was poison in it.
I have met a few Scientologists, and I'm not going to say you're made of that. You just have this in your mind, you're like, yeah, it's possible. It's
yeah. I mean,
don't come after me, Dan Snyder.
Is he a Scientologist?
I think he is.
Your Redskins are so screwed up. Are you going to become a DC Defenders fan with the XFL?
I have so many friends who've gone like the first game and the last game. I mean, what was it? 2001. They tried with the XFL. WWF. Yeah. I think it was still WWF then, wasn't it?
Oh, it still is now.
Is it really?
Well, it's not. It's Vince McMahon owns it.
Yeah.
And he runs everything, but he changed it up. Like he was like, "We're not doing this crazy stuff we did. That's trying to tie it in with wrestling."
Yeah.
He's like, "We're going to do a legit football league."
Yeah.
He's on like 4 different channels. ABC airs it, Fox airs it. I know Fox Sports airs it, and I think NBC. I don't 100% know what.
That's crazy. I mean, if anybody had the money and the knowledge, it's definitely him.
And he changed it up big time because he changed some rules. Now there's a conversion rule where you can do from like 5 yards out, it's a 1-point conversion.
Yeah.
10 yards out, it's a 2-point conversion.
Yeah.
At 15, it's a 3-point conversion.
Yeah, that's gonna be hard to keep up with. I mean, NFL changes the rules so much. I can't keep up with the NFL sometimes.
It's interesting though because they will let you know like during that, and then it's I think if you go into overtime, each team has, or the teams have 5 chances to score.
Yeah.
In overtime, so like
that's crazy.
Yeah,
I haven't got a chance to watch the games or anything. I heard about it. My buddy Kingsley, who ironically, I don't know if I told you, he does a YouTube channel.
You did mention it. Yeah,
he does movie reviews and stuff.
Nice.
He's just starting out, but
I am all for the collaborative portion of doing podcasts.
Oh, I'm definitely throwing this his way and your way.
So Kingsley, come on the show. Let's talk about it.
Yeah. But I guess the second game or the first game, might have been the second game, but he went, it was freezing cold, ends up getting sick, and then comes in to get tattooed. And I'm working on this badass, excuse my language. You can edit that around, right? Okay.
You don't say the hard stuff. I'll take that.
I won't. I've been doing really good.
You have?
Jean Grey and Scott tattoos. So I did the Phoenix. I wish I had a picture of it. And then we're doing the actual Phoenix silhouette as kind of the background, so it fills the whole entire lower leg. I mean,
that's awesome.
Yeah, and I've done it in 3 sessions, which if anybody knows anything about tattoos, it takes a while. A lot of people have that misconception, from TV. It takes 20 minutes to do a tattoo when, 4 hours at a time. You're doing a tattoo session. It could take 6, 7 sessions for an arm. For a lower, just one part of the arm, upper or lower. But I in 3 sessions so far, I've done the full complete Gene and Scott, and then I did I'm working on the flames coming back from the wings of the Phoenix. And
nice.
Yeah, it helps. He's a huge dude.
Oh yeah, and I mean
plenty of room to work on.
Yeah, I bet you like that. Like when the back piece or somebody's big like that, because like even with my arm, you were like, we're gonna do all 3. We're gonna do the Holy Trilogy, and I'm like, yes, salivating. Like this sounds amazing. I
know.
Like I even have Luke looking at the suns. I have
my friend Paul, Tess. She's tiny. I mean, in comparison to both you and I, I'm not gonna call my weight out, but I'm a little bit bigger than some people. But Tess is like 90 pounds soaking wet.
I think I met her. Shouldn't she get the Luke looking on? On her arm, right?
But it's smaller than a business card.
Yeah,
and it's an exact portrait of him looking off into the sunset. Mm-hmm. And it was the double suns.
Yeah,
and I mean it's so when I look at someone like you walk in, I'm like, oh my god, I could do all this. Like I have so much room to do so much Star Wars stuff, and the whole her tattoo still looks huge when I show people the picture of it. It's like bent around her arm because she's so tiny. It's like
it is. Yeah, it's got I think you've always called it real estate.
Yeah,
like if you have a lot of real estate, like because I remember I wanted to get something and you were like, no man, that's good real estate.
Well, there's 2 things I look at when someone walks in the door. Whether they go out in the sun a lot, which I mean you don't go around taking your shirt off and sitting at the beach all day long. So I'm like,
this
perfect. Well, Jesus, because UV light isn't big killer of tattoos. And all that. So it's like I look at real estate. How much room do I have to work with? How much detail? Obviously, you put detail in a tiny little area, it won't last. People don't seem to understand that. But I want to know that I can do the tattoo big. I want to know that I can fit as much elements of what I enjoy into it. Like obviously, you came to me with a Star Wars tattoo. I'm like, yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's I was born when Star Wars came out. It's like you know, I'm one of the, unfortunately, because there's like that age statistic. If you're born after a certain year, you love Ewoks. So I got to experience that when the Jar Jar Binks era came out. It's like if you're born before this date, you hated Jar Jar, you know, and it's like I have so many young clients. They're like, "Oh my God, he's my favorite character," and I'm like, I want to choke him. But
oh my God,
it is insane how many people love him. Like it's like
more and more I hear him talk about, and I'm just like, really?
Yeah.
And I'm like, he's the worst part.
Yeah, even George Lucas is just like, what was I thinking? And then it's like, all my clients, they come in and, you know, they're born in like 96 kind of thing, 97. It's like, Jesus Christ, I went off for the Marine Corps when you were being born. It's like, you know, but inevitably you have to face, you know, you're getting old.
Oh yeah.
And it's crazy to hear people, you know, it's like they come in like, oh, I love him. And I'm like, what?
Well, I'm always been a defender of the prequels.
Yeah.
Because I don't think they're that bad of movies.
I don't think so.
First one's too long, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And you needed to get Jar Jar out.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's the catering. It's, you know, and he wants to make a family, you know, fun. He wants the families, because, you know, obviously, what, 85 was when the Return came out? Returns out, or 83?
Yeah, 83 was Return. Yeah,
so 83 was Return. So you have this huge gap. You have all these kids now who didn't get the Star Wars experience. So he's trying to fit that into the first prequel. And I will admit, you know, I went and watched it 4 or 5 times.
Huh?
You know, yeah, I had my dislikes, but then, you know, just like comic book movies, which we'll definitely get into at some point, you have to go and expecting it's just a movie. Like,
100%.
You know, I can't fact check comic book movies anymore, stuff like that. Like, it's like, I get so mad at myself, and I will ruin the movie for myself if I go in there thinking it's based off the comic book.
I got into an argument recently with somebody about Captain Marvel. And now I know all of the iterations of Captain Marvel, Marvel, and then there was so many. And
Captain Marvel, did you know, was originally DC?
No, that was well, yes, but that was Shazam.
Yeah, yep.
Which he's still called Captain Marvel, but they for anybody who doesn't know, they changed the name from Captain Marvel in DC when Captain Marvel came out in 2 different characters, but so it changed to Shazam as the comic book name when Captain Marvel came out, because they didn't want to compete, because it's Marvel, you know, it has the name in it.
Yeah.
But I was arguing with somebody because they didn't like the fact that Carol Danvers, they're like, oh, of course we have this woman, blah, 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 and it's been a man when it started. And I'm like, yeah, but she's been around since the 70s.
Yeah.
So it's not like, and yes, they have changed it since then. And there's even more of an argument for why not the next iteration of Captain Marvel, which is, she was a Muslim girl from Jersey City, my home city, which I can't remember her name, because that was like after I stopped reading a lot of different era after I stopped reading. So I can't remember her name at the moment, but she was a Muslim girl from Jersey City, New Jersey. That's what I remember. Because they were making a big deal about it. It was like late 2000s, I think it came out, and a lot of just that BS stuff. But
well, they were still recovering from the 90s. You know, it's like,
oh yeah, destroyed it.
Trying to destroy the comic book industry, and they're trying to fight out of it. They're trying to find new inventive characters to put in, and you know, people are getting offended or people are getting pissed because they're so used to a certain way. But you know, obviously, it has to change with the times.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just, I feel like sometimes they, you know, even to this day, I feel like they try to force it down your throat to, like, you know, like this is how it has to be. You know, when instead of just a nice transition, you know, a jump from them almost killing comic books to transition to everything is like, you know, oh my God, we're gonna kill Superman off. We're gonna do all this crazy stuff. So people are like, oh, I gotta buy comic books again. You know,
and they always do. Like they always have that big moment, like you said, Death of Superman or Crisis on Infinite Earths, and all those, or Civil War for Marvel. But I think they've gone too far with it. Like I go back and I revisit every once in a while, and I find myself only following small story arcs. You know, 1 or 6 comics. Yeah. You know, just that. And I don't, and I buy trades now. I don't go back and buy first print anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it's the collector market now is it's leaning into, like, you know, the variant covers and this and that, and you know, fortunately for me, because I don't get rid of my comics ever. So when something comes out and you're like, you know, Captain America has changed now, and it's like, oh crap, I have 3 copies of that comic. I didn't get rid of it, you know, because when I got it, it was, you know, not even worth the cover price, and now it's like I have 3 copies. So, and yeah, I'm going off on a tangent, but
Go for it. It's comic books.
Yeah. Unfortunately, comic books are dying. It's too easy. It's the digital. I hear it all the time. Like, oh, would you just read them online? I'm like, it's not the same for me. I have to hold a book. I have to smell it. Like, even the smell's changed a little.
Yeah.
But it's still the feel of a book. Obviously, like, a lot of your independent comics back in the 90s, and then like, Image was technically independent then, or not as big as it is now. The pages changed, like the material, the glossiness, like even the way, like, McFarlane and all those guys were printing, the way they printed on the inside was like you're holding this quality thing. But at this day and age, it's almost easier just to get the graphic novel and just, it's, and I read them online, I do both, but.
Yeah, the only thing I miss about, like, when you buy older comics with the graphic novels now, or trades or whatever you want to call them, but I think. Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. But I think the problem is, like, there's nothing like reading an older comic book and just the feel of that paper. It wasn't glossy. It was like that rugged
it's
paper.
Just enough, but yeah.
It had holes in it sometimes, the punch holes.
Yeah, the little yep.
Where they tore them.
It's funny you say that because I restore comic book. I've been doing that 3 or 4 years now. But I restore comics. I get off stains off the cover. I don't do anything to alter the comic. Like, I would never. That's a battle of its own, because you have the true collectors. Like, oh, you've cleaned it and you've pressed it, and I try to get the staples correct, and or the way the pages line in the corners, and I take my time on a book. It takes me a few days a book to fully restore it to where I can get you a couple grades higher, but it's it's the opening it, man, that it's just
yeah, it stands soapbox in the back. You can order something from there. Yeah, like there's a lot of fun to them. And I think that's lacking in today's comic books.
Oh yeah.
Like, you always wanted to see what Stan had to say.
Well, see, I thought with all these Marvel comics or Marvel movies, DC movies, all these movies coming out, like, there would be fire again. And my buddy owns a comic book shop in Gainesville, Tom, and his shop, like, you walk in and I feel like it's the same genre of people. And it's like you get that mysterious girl that comes in there. All the guys are like, this girl really like comics, and you're all staring at her, kind of thing. But it's like, it's almost like the industry just can't grow because of that. It's like no. And I thought the movies would spike the interest and all that.
Well, you know what it is. It's such a world that we live in where everything is tablets or just faster on the phones and stuff. So movies were the natural occurrence, and all of the storylines that they're following. Are probably what they're going to buy. Yeah. They're not going to go out and buy the new ones. They'll wait for the movie.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's sad, because I thought when Civil War came out that to me was a lackluster fight scene. Like, it was a cool scene in the movie.
Oh yeah.
And I'm not going to fight it because it was fun to watch. Like, you got to see something that you had seen in the comics, and it was an epic moment in the comics history. And I'm getting to see it on the big screen. So fine. It doesn't matter if there's like 10 of them.
Yeah.
Whereas in the comics, like, that panel is huge because there's hundreds on each side. Yeah. And it's an epic.
I remember
panel.
that too. Like that. Yeah. It's like, oh my God, look at all these guys.
But I think that helps the fact that they don't read the comics, because anybody who read that or saw those panels is just like, it's not the same. Yeah. But they, the movies are doing a great job. Like, even if you don't like the fact that or Captain Marvel is a.
Yeah, I think nowadays it's just more, the hater's going to hate theory.
Yeah, everybody wants to hate something.
Everybody wants to hate something. Everybody wants to talk. I mean, I'm old enough now. Like, I just go into the movie expecting it to be a movie. Yeah. And I did enjoy Captain Marvel, actually.
Well, I have to ask you because of the, to me especially, like the degraded nature of DC movies versus how good the Marvel movies are. I want to see where you lie. What are some of your favorite comic book movies out today? Or just in the past, like, 10 years or so?
I mean, you could go all the way back to when I was a kid watching the Hulk show if you wanted.
Oh, absolutely. But those are always favorites. Because
or the original Flash TV show where I used to run around my house like I was running really fast, and ultimately I'm this little fat kid running like a mile an hour.
The TV shows just killed him off, by the way.
I know. I heard. Unfortunately, like, I still have this app on my phone, and I could swipe right, you know, kind of like a Tinder, but I can swipe right and it gives me all this feed on like DC Marvel comics. So,
Nice.
you know, I'm taking my 45-minute morning constitutionals, as I like to call it, and I'll see them and I just shake my head. Like, you know, you and I were talking earlier about Han, Harrison Ford, you know, like one of the headlines, and I didn't even open the article because it was so ridiculous, like Han doesn't even know what a Force Ghost is or something, and I'm like, ugh, like I just.
But you have to kind of know that at least.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's.
You knew he wouldn't know.
Yeah,
But if you asked him anything about Indiana Jones, he'd know.
Oh, 100%. And they're coming out with a fifth one. It's like, come on.
I'm in.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I just the guy, you know. You just retire, man. You're landing airplanes at the wrong airport. You know, you're landing on golf courses and stuff. Like,
I don't care.
God, go on top, man. Like,
no, good. Well, no, he's not going out on top because he made Crystal Skull.
Oh, we don't talk about that.
So now it's going to be George Lucas-less and Spielberg coming back. Like, let's just do it. Let's see what happens.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah. I'm gonna watch it.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, but it's like, you know, like watching Liam Neeson get his dog taken from him now. Like, how many more things can they take from that poor guy?
Like, Keanu Reeves.
No. The movie Taken. It's been done 3 times, right? Have you seen it past the first one?
Yeah, but you said his dog. That was
no. So now they're getting ready, like, they should kidnap his dog. Like,
oh my god,
he should go to like the store and they'll be like,
it should be John Wick needed a new dog.
Yeah.
Kidnap Liam Neeson's, and then it's just an epic battle.
Yeah.
Like X versus Sever.
Oh my god.
Which none of you who are maybe younger than us you do not get that.
This podcast is directed towards the older folks.
Oh, 100%. There's some young listeners, they like it. Yeah. They learn something.
Oh yeah.
But no, I mean, but with the comic book industry today, like, it's just going to be movies from now on. They have a feeling like they'll always stick to a certain print, but you see a lot of they ended Fantastic Four's run for a long time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that was like the royal family of comic books, so that was a big deal. But I feel they're going to come back now that they're in MCU.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Robert Downey today said that he would consider coming back to MCU if they paid him more. You know, it's like, Jesus, man, how much?
He was making like $50 million.
I know, but he's talking about coming back, and it's like, you killed him off. Like, just let him go. Just don't. Yeah. Don't even entertain the idea. I get it. Like, you know, when those Iron Man movies came out, it was the whole. You could see that switch. In comic book movies, you know, you're like, whoa, look at this movie. Oh, like, I have a copy of one of the original, oh my God, I'm stuck because I'm on a podcast right now, but, Mysteries or whatever, with the first Iron
Tales from Mystery.
Yeah,
Tales of Suspense.
Yeah, Tales of Suspense. You know, I have one of the original reproductions of that one. I actually drew a huge one time for that fellow Kingsley I was talking about. You know, it wasn't for him. I was donating it to charity. I did a huge line drawing of it and inked it and stuff, and I sold it at a charity event, and he actually bought it. That's how I was like, wow, this guy's, you know, he's cool. He's got the comic, you know, itch, I guess. But Tony Stark, man, I don't know, how do you do that? Like, can you just replace him like you did Rhodes? I mean, can you just come into the scene and be like, "Yep, this is it"? Like,
but they've done that so much too, and they have replaced characters where I guess you could, but not him. I don't because he started it all. I think the fans would just be mad. Yeah. But I don't think you need Iron Man anymore. You got 22 movies with him like in existence in them. So,
but he's still the moneymaker for all those movies.
Yeah, but
you throw him into a Spider-Man movie, it's like, oh, it's Iron Man and Spider-Man. You know.
Yeah. Oh no, Spider-Man's doing pretty good on his own right now. Yeah. And they've been significantly better. It's a good thing that Sony was like, okay, we'll team up again.
I guess you haven't heard that the theory of Doctor Strange might be going back to the Tobey Maguire reality, because you know he can jump between realities. Yeah,
I heard that.
So, and I'm kind of partial to Tobey Maguire. He was, you know, the first one.
I like the second one too.
The third one I think was, you know.
I thought he was a terrible Peter Parker. It was smoldering. Like he didn't get Peter Parker. But I liked him as Spider. No, here's the problem. Now you got me mad because I think about it. When he was Spider-Man and we didn't have anything else, he was good.
Yeah.
But now I think about it, and then you had Andrew Garfield, who was not a great Peter Parker, but he's good.
Yeah.
But he was a really good Spider-Man because he told the jokes, and that's what Spider-Man was.
That poor guy gets fired because he won't show up to a Japanese guy's party. That's how he got fired. They hired him to make an appearance at a party, and he refused to. And I believe that fellow was somewhere high up in Sony or something. And they were like, "Well, we're just not going to hire this guy anymore."
I didn't know that because that movie came back with like $1 billion. So like I can't.
They just cut
It's
it
not
out.
substantiated, but I believe it.
Look at him. Google it.
It's Hollywood.
Yeah.
But then you have the new kid, Tom Holland, and he's doing great.
Yeah.
And he does the jokes well.
Mm-hmm. He's best of both worlds.
Yeah. And you're sticking with young for a long time. Mm-hmm. So I dig it. I'm in for it. But it'd be cool to bring Tobey Maguire back. Yeah, maybe even Andrew Garfield back.
Yeah.
Because you almost have the multiverse for the Spider-Verse exists. Mm-hmm. Yep. I mean, it'd be cool. Although they did a great job with that that's probably the best Spider-Man movie.
I was wondering, it is. And I've seen it 100 times.
Yeah.
Like, I had to go to my closet and maybe one day if you have me back on, I'll somehow we can upload pictures. I can show you pictures of my closet.
We're never having you back on.
Okay.
You're not going to
camera. All right. That's true. Yeah, I had the first appearance of Miles Morales, as Spider-Man, and like, I had this. I'm like, oh, like I have this comic, like, and I do this even, as an adult, I'll see a comic and I'm like, I like the storyline, I like this, I'll just buy it, where I'm not just that guy, because the 90s did screw with comic books. It's like, oh, comics are just an investment now, and you don't see people going out to read a book and open it, and that's I still, even to this day, like Carl, my buddy Carl owns a shop here in front, or not here, but where I live near Front Royal.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And just talking to the guy, I mean, he's plethora of knowledge. It's how old is that guy? 60 something. He's known all the greats. He's done the conventions when they were in basements. And it's like he's got autographed stuff by all these comic book artists from all the greats and stuff. And you listen to the guy's story, and it's like he was there, he sat in the booth next to Stan Lee. Like that's it blows your mind. It's like, and he's not talking out of his ass. He just literally has this stuff. He has these black binders, and you open them and you look through them, and it's original artwork that goes to the presses, the full color press, and it's amazing. So, all right.
That's awesome. That's something like he should make like a little museum to go and see. Yeah. That would be amazing.
Yeah, if you did a podcast with that guy, you'd probably be here for 5 hours because he doesn't stop talking.
That would be funny. I'd have to cut that one down.
Yeah.
It's like, oops, the camera fell.
Yeah, oops.
We got to reset. We'll do this later. No, it is amazing. But it's an amazing turn, too, because I'm so happy that, like, your kids are going they're going to be introduced to a whole new world through the movies.
Yep.
And they're going to see stuff. Listen, Superman was amazing when we were kids.
Oh, yeah.
Batman 89 blew us away.
Yeah.
Then, 3 or 4 movies later.
Do you remember the Spider-Man movies back in the day? The show? Like
the Chinese web.
You try to watch it now. You're like,
remember when he fell into a garbage truck or something like that? But even take it further, like the Ninja Turtles movies. They were great comic book movies for the time.
Yeah. I think it still holds its time. I think it still holds well.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to see it in the theaters next month.
Oh.
Alamo Draft House is showing it.
Can I come?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah. I one of the only times I cried as a youngster because I didn't get my way, and I didn't cry that much because we didn't really have a whole lot, but I wanted to see the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in the movie theater. Now, to my dad, sounds like that's nonsense. Why am I going to waste $2 on my kid to go watch this movie with a bunch of dudes in rubber suits? But I did. I legitimately cried that I have to go see this movie, and he did. He took me, and then we enjoyed it. Then we watched the 3 more, or all 3 of them together, kind of thing. It was pretty cool though. But
so you converted that thing. Your dad converted to Ninja Turtles.
He's a little poor country kid in there trying to explain to his father what rap is, pretty much, essentially, because the first movie what was it? Ice.
The second movie was Vanilla.
Vanilla Ice was the second one, and it's like trying to explain to my dad who Vanilla Ice is, and he's just like
ninja rap.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I love the Temptations. Smokey Robinson. Yeah.
For anybody listening out there that doesn't know who they are, they were famous singers of Motown.
Yes, poor guys got ripped off by the establishment.
Yeah,
never got paid too much.
A lot of Motown singers did.
Yeah,
but those were signs of the time.
It's real music.
I did want to bring up one thing.
Mm-hmm.
You're a big movie fan.
Mm-hmm.
We've had this argument before. Yeah.
Which argument?
You were a Marine.
Yeah.
Well, you
Still
are
a
a
Marine.
Marine.
Yeah.
You're always a Marine.
Uh-huh.
So I was not a Marine, so I don't
He was
know.
a helicopter pilot.
Somebody's gonna listen and punch me in the face.
I don't really.
Actually, my partner for Pulling Focus podcast is he's a Marine too.
Okay.
So like we'll talk about it and joke sometimes, but I told him the helicopter story, so it was kind of funny.
It is comical. It really is.
It wasn't me saying it. So no, but so you're a Marine. You know a lot about guns, gun safety, things like that.
Sure.
We've talked about that in the past too.
Yeah, don't get me started on the Second Amendment stuff.
No. That's not what this is.
Yeah.
We'll save it for the political podcast.
Okay, I'll come on and do that one with you.
Yeah, this is for fun. But you watch movies.
Mm-hmm.
You watch action movies. You watch war movies.
This argument, okay.
And you have no suspension of disbelief when it comes to how they're held, what they look like, what they can do, what they sound like. You pick them apart like crazy, and I enjoy it.
What is Hollywood? Multi-trillion? What? I mean, come on, man. They're hiring people to help them make this movie. They're hiring vets and guys that are still in the military. But you'll get someone, a grenade, for example, when you throw it into, it's not an incendiary device. It blows up, what was the maximum, or the killing range is like 15 yards or something like that. I can't, I'm getting old now, but it's like 15 yards is like the maximum efficiency of killing or whatever for a hand grenade. But there is some good movies now that I won't tear apart, but you know me, and we have gotten in that argument before.
What would you say is the biggest perpetrator you've ever seen in a movie or TV series? I'm not picky. That you watched it and you were like, this got everything wrong.
Oh God. Probably a lot of them, man. I mean, you have the comical ones like Rambo, where that it's but it's when they're trying to be serious in it, and it's not. It's really not. Or like even down to little things, like you're looking at someone's haircut and you're like, well, that's not regs. I don't care where you are. You could be sitting in Afghan. That's not regs. That's not even close to regs. Like, why is that guy got
you have
sideburns?
To explain regs for
haircut, hair status, or hair regulations. Thank you. Okay. It's watching some of these movies and just seeing, and your brother does it too. He you'll see medals out of order, like we have requirements that when you sew your stuff on or anything, there have to be a certain requirement from a seam. It has to be positioned, all that stuff. I'm not gonna go too far on all that, but it's because consultants. That's what I'm saying. Hollywood hires consultants. Yeah. And it's like for example, I think American Sniper had a bunch of what's the one with Mark Wahlberg in it, the Lone Survivor.
Lone Survivor.
They actually had one of the SEALs there consulting. He was actually in the movie. He's in one of the scenes where they're meeting or they're having their team talk. He's in a couple scenes. He's like in the picnic table scene where they're giving someone a hard time. But you can tell sometimes the difference in the movie. But then it's Hollywood. They're just gonna level a building. That just that little extra. So you're just like, it's like. Well,
I want to play a little game with you on this.
All right.
I'm gonna say a movie.
Okay.
Oh man. And I want you maybe not specifically a war movie. It might just be like a cop movie or something.
Okay.
And I want you to tell me just if it's one of three things. One, dead on, got it right.
Okay.
Two, in the middle, like like they did pretty good.
Yeah.
Or three, nothing in that would happen.
Okay.
Like on a level of the Fifth Element or something.
Oh yeah. Yeah, she knows it's a multi-pass.
Yes. I have the multi-pass right behind you.
Do you really?
Yeah.
I can't turn my name.
You Batman? Batman 89?
1989.
You're just going to punch him.
It's funny, I found my trading cards for the 1989 Batman.
Save those.
Yeah. You want them? I was thinking about giving them to you.
Oh, you have
They're sitting on my drawing table.
That's called college fund for your daughter.
No, those things, they're not worth anything now. They weren't worth anything then. They were just, You know, if I didn't have such a huge crush on Michelle Pfeiffer back then for the 92 one, because I had the 92 cards as well. But the 89, you know, Vicky Vale, Kim Basinger, oof.
Do you remember how big buttons were back then?
Yeah. Yeah.
They were huge.
They were just
they were huge.
All right, we're getting off track.
Yeah, I know, but
it's like watching the first episodes of Sopranos all the way to the end. You see this progression in buttons. You never noticed that?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, so here we go.
All right.
I want to start off with
1 to 3.
We're gonna go, and I know we just mentioned it, so I know where you're going with this. But Rambo: First Blood Part 2.
Yeah, that's 3, man.
Yeah, that's just off.
Yeah,
it does nothing.
But it's entertaining, so you expect it.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I mean, it can be entertaining.
So we're still okay. We're just doing a scale thing.
Yeah, just a scale of what you think is right. Heartbreak Ridge.
Oh, that's a great movie. That is a pretty close to a 1.
Probably as close to a 1 as you're gonna get.
Yeah, I would have to say so. You know the scene, The Rock, with like Nicolas Cage, and he finally goes to the basement of Alcatraz, and
well, that was gonna be one of them. So
that's 3.
That's
I'll
3.
That's
so
3 right now. Yeah.
Well, I knew some of the stuff didn't exist in that, like the little camera, infrared camera thing.
Well, it's not even just that. It's just when you look at these. I saw the movie once. I think I was in boot camp when I saw it, or maybe it was afterwards. But it was. I remember all the Marines were just like laughing our heads off because it's like, even as a boot, you're like, that's wrong. Like you're just like, oh god. I think the guys down in the basement were supposed to be recon or something, and it's just like,
I know in Heartbreak Ridge they were recon.
Yeah,
right?
No, in the Alcatraz movie, The Rock.
Oh, were they?
With the guys in the basement, but you look at their haircuts, the way they carry themselves. It's like, come on. Anyway, sorry, go ahead. Sorry, I can do this all night.
So they did. All right. So The Rock is far to 3. It's still an entertaining movie. I still like it.
It is that scene where he jumps with the Ferrari or something down through San Francisco. Yeah.
Well, he's an FBI agent. He can do that. Yeah. That's what they do.
Yeah. Listen, I mean, everybody's been trying to recreate the Steve McQueen, chase scene kind of thing. But
so I got 2 Vietnam movies for you.
Oh God, yeah, Full Metal Jacket.
Full Metal Jacket. What do you think? I've heard from George, or my brother is also
pretty
Marine.
legit. Yeah, I
heard the first half is like.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. If I'd seen that movie before I went to the Marine Corps, I wouldn't have gone in. No, I'd be like, oh, Air Force sounds awesome.
My wife is an Air Force vet. So.
Yes, she is. Yes.
I have to pick on that. She listens to the show, so I had to say it.
Yeah, she was tickled pink that one year we asked her to come out or whatever. I was like, you can come out.
She still talks about it.
Oh, does she?
The Veterans Day.
I stopped drinking so much, so I don't find anything
out.
Yeah. Well, all right. So what's the other one? Full Metal Jacket. Yes. Now, see, my uncle, he's a Vietnam vet. God knows how many tours he has. The lowest I've heard is 3. The highest I've heard is 6. But he was a Marine in Vietnam, and he actually finally did the VA thing. He finally,
nice.
Yeah, a couple years ago. He's been, it's pretty cool. I've seen his progression through Facebook, ironically.
That's great. That's fantastic. I love that.
Yep.
I love hearing veterans, I don't want to say taking care of themselves, because it shouldn't always be them taking care of themselves. You guys deserve a lot more help and treatment for free than you were given. That's my argument, but I won't get political. We'll save that for political.
That political one. Right?
So Platoon. Kind of the other side of the 80s.
Yeah. Oof.
Because you have Kubrick, who did Full Metal Jacket, who was a stickler for facts.
Yeah.
And then you have Oliver Stone, who was like, I was in Vietnam, here's my movie.
Yeah, but Oliver Stone was trying to make a political point or something. At the time. I was young when that movie came out. Man, it's hard to tell, because I've been like, Vietnam just sounds like hell, and I think he's portraying the version of it. Sure, I would go more towards 1. If I were to look at it based on facts and munitions and some of the stuff they did in it, that I would almost a borderline 3.
Okay.
But some of the scenes where they find one of the guys from their platoon that's been tortured and stuff, tied to a tree, like that all happened.
Well, I meant just more the ammunition side.
Yeah.
And
then there's times where Tom Berenger's literally shooting off the side of a cliff, at a VC running. God knows what the windage was. It's the tropics or whatever, the jungle is probably up there. And I mean, he takes, God, like 800-yard shot. He wasn't even in the Marine Corps. They can't make those shots in the Army. But, no, I mean, he hits a VC. It was just like, you know, he even, it's almost like a 3-round burst he did and still hit the guy and dropped his ass. And I was like, you know, 5.56 round, because in Vietnam, we had to switch to 5.56. 7.62s are just ripping through the Vietnamese like it was nothing. 5.56s, of course, tumble and, you know, bigger wounds and more chance of killing.
Okay.
So,
I did not know that, so that's good.
Yeah, and then the VC would get all...
That you told me.
Mm-hmm. They get all hopped up on their opiums and stuff, or just their will to fight and protect their land. You know, you would shoot through them with a 7.62 and they still coming at you. You know, hey,
anybody dedicated is...
Yeah. I've heard of stories of them running with half their body intact, still coming to kill you. Like, you know, that's... So I couldn't even imagine, man. But,
so would you say that's a 3, or...
I'm going to give it a strong 2.
Strong 2.
Almost
okay.
a 3.
And where do we land on... You landed on a 1 for...
A Full Metal Jacket?
Full Metal?
First half would be a 3. The second half would be a 1.
Okay.
You know?
Okay. All right. I like that. What do you think about Three Kings?
Now, see, I only saw parts of that movie, and anytime it comes on, I only see parts of it. That's the Iraq one, right? Or no, Desert Storm. This is the gold. Yeah. Okay. I've only seen parts.
Well, I'll leave that one for next time then.
Was Clooney's in it, right?
Yep. Clooney, Wahlberg, and
Ray Charles.
Oh, Jamie Foxx. Was
Foxx.
it Jamie Foxx in it?
Yeah, I think so.
Really?
You
tell me. I'm going to look that up because
I think it was Jamie Foxx.
I believe you. I just don't remember.
Yeah.
And now I'm just interested. So, so you probably don't know where that one lands then.
No, not really, because it's just one of those.
What about Jarhead? That one I was interested in because you are a Marine. So
I mean, it's the concept of hurry up and wait. It's there. That whole movie is hurry up and wait. It's I would say, you know, for the most part, it's accurate. There's obviously any military movie. If you've been in the military, you can look at it and pull it apart. But I'd give it a high 2 as well.
Would you say? Oh, it was Ice Cube. That's right. It was Ice
Cube.
Oh, it was
Ice Cube.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Because I don't think Jamie Foxx was as big back then.
I mean, they both sing.
Yeah,
whatever.
One played XXX2 State of the Union. Calm down.
Yeah.
And then returned for XXX3 Return of Xander Cage.
Oh, good lord. And you probably watched it, didn't you?
I did, 100%. I watch all of the Fast and Furious movies.
Yeah.
They are. It's the same reason I watched the John Wick movies.
Yeah. I couldn't make it to the last John Wick. I tried.
It ended pretty good.
I tried. I got to the, what was it, Halle Berry, I guess she's the female protagonist with Keanu Reeves, and they were fighting, you know, and it is obviously a stage, but it's like a back alleyway area, and you're just like, I can't do any more of this movie. I couldn't. I lived that, you know, and it was one of the first movies I've turned off in a long time.
Wow,
I just couldn't.
That's pretty crazy.
And it's like, you know, I give a lot of props to Keanu Reeves. He's, you know, apparently one of the coolest celebrities in Hollywood.
I've heard that.
He does a lot for people. He's acted in God knows how many movies. I mean, one of my favorite movies of all time, Point Break. Like,
oh yeah,
I own so many DVD copies of it, and I have a VHS copy of it because I can never seem to find it every time I move. So I just go out and buy another one, and then I end up finding it. Like, you know, right now I have 2 copies at the shop on my bookshelf. But he's getting older, man. Like, he's been through all this training. You know, one of the YouTube pride is him at this range, and he's doing the training correctly. But it's his style. Like, it's so forced. It's not fluid. Like somebody that in the movie has been portrayed as being this crazy assassin, you know, who should be fluent, you know. And it's like, you know, the first movie, it's like, how many times did he flip someone over his shoulder? It's like, we get it, dude. We get it. You know, but the movie's made.
It's gun kata, all right? It's gun kata.
Yeah. But it's watching his fighting style. And, you know, we were talking about Liam Neeson earlier. It's like watching him fight. It's like, God, it just, we need Bourne back. You know, that guy can fight.
As much as I like Bourne and the way he fought in those movies, it was very quick.
Yeah.
You have to have the breakup. From a movie making standpoint, you have to look at it because it's kind of like how Bruce Lee was best at choreographing. Because like, if he were to go full speed,
he would. Yeah,
you wouldn't catch it on camera.
Yep.
And that's what happened with the Bourne movies. Like, it was too fast.
Is the one with him playing ping pong with the nunchucks, is that real?
I've heard that was fake. Okay. I don't know.
I've always wanted to know.
I do too, and I'll find out for you next time you're on the show. But I've heard it was fake. I don't know.
Okay.
I hope not.
When the internet first started coming out for us country folk, that was one of the first videos I saw, and I was so blown away. And somebody had told me within the last few years that it was fake.
You want to watch a really good martial arts movie, and next time you're on the show, we need to sit down and talk martial arts, because I know we like martial arts movies.
Mm-hmm.
The Ip Man movies. If you
yeah.
I just saw the 4th one last month.
Good God, they have 4 of them now.
It's the finale. It's his final chapter of his life.
Like wow. Yeah.
And he fights a Marine in it.
Of course he does.
Scott Adkins plays the Marine he fights.
I guess this dude have a flat top and act like a complete douche.
100%. I thought of you too.
Oh, thanks.
No. I did not think of you. I did kind of think of George, who was my brother, the Marine. I definitely thought of my other brother watching it. For many reasons.
Yeah.
I'd see him on screen. But it was very good. Like, the thing I liked about the Ip Man movies is he never took away from another style of fighting. He never said Kung Fu is better than you. It was always about the fighter.
Mm-hmm.
If the fighter's more centered and can maintain, he'll win in the end. And that was always been, from the first one till the last one, that's always been the message. And because he never, like, in the movie, the Marines are, this is the 60s. So like they're adopting karate as a style.
Karate, jiu-jitsu, all that. And Taekwondo, I think, back in the 60s.
Yeah, I think they talked about it. But in this case, they were adopting karate. And, this sergeant was like, he was a gunny. He was hardened. Karate's the best way, best defense, blah, blah, blah. And he was beating up Kung Fu masters just to prove that karate is better. Like, he would go and just beat them up. Yeah. Even though, like, and again, it doesn't take away from anybody because they're all older men and he's a young Marine. Yeah. But Ip Man is the best of the best.
Generally, if he's a gunny, he already hates his life and lives in a trailer with his fat wife and his 5 kids and has been through 2 divorces.
The thing I love about the Ip Man movies is, like, the only, besides Scott Adkins is American, I think. I'm not 100% sure on that, but he does have an accent now, American accent now. Everybody in the movie that is, like, white or is from Australia, they're Australian actors playing Americans. Yep. Except for Mike Tyson. He was the only American. And I love that. Yep. I love the fact that he is the only American in the Ip Man movies. And his scene was great. His scene in the 3rd one was great.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Again, he was boxing against the Kung Fu. And I don't care how old he is or how out of shape he is. I'm not taking a hook.
Oh, good God.
Or an uppercut.
I couldn't even imagine.
Because that's the only thing Mike Tyson remembers in his life is like how to throw a punch. Yeah. And like it may have slowed down a bit, but it's still got to have that power.
I started rewatching a lot of his old fights too, man.
God, his fights are amazing.
That's for another day. We can all.
I want to save that for like when we're talking about martial arts movies.
Speaking of Asian movies and stuff, though, I got back into watching. You ever watch Initial D, the anime?
No.
Watch it. It's
what is that?
So, my girl and I got in this fight not too long ago.
Always leads to good anime.
No, it was about video games because I played video games at night when she comes home from work and she goes to bed. Well, obviously they need you in bed with them sometimes.
I get it.
I was not doing that. I was staying out in the living room playing video games. Call of Duty sucked me in. I had a lot of friends playing Call of Duty. I still do, but
can I just interject for 1 second? Mm-hmm. If you want her to let you stay up, marry her.
She won't marry me. She's smart.
Oh. Yeah, my wife, I guess, was not as much in the marriage, because as soon as we got married, she's like, "You can stay up. I know you're a night owl. Yeah, it's all right." Yeah, and I'm just like, "You want to fall asleep. You don't want me to snore." Yeah. So that's what happens.
Yeah, I have sleep apnea. Well, we got in a fight, and I was like, "Fine, I'll never play another video game." I was getting ready to pack my Xbox up, my PC, and everything. I was like, "Never play for another video game." So God bless her. Next day. She buys me Forza Horizon 4. If you know anything about me, I don't play racing games. I don't play video games, really. I play first-person shooters here and there. I get really good at a game, and then I just stop because it bores me after that. I haven't got bored of Forza yet. And I found the world of drifting. So this is where the Initial D comes into it. I have literally for 6-7 weeks now, I have I've earned all the money I can earn, and I have like 130 million or something ridiculous. I have 590 cars, something ridiculous, but Jesus. I can't master drifting. Now, keep in mind, I've owned drift cars. Yeah. I can drift in my life.
You were bougie for a while.
Yeah, not the drift cars.
You become a regular on the show. You're going to be bougie Kenny.
Jesus. Well, I started getting into drifting. Well, when I was younger, there was a show called Initial D. I can't get behind anime. I have a lot of problems. I love it artistically. When they do, landscape scenes or something like that, they there's a big message there. It's the way they do their animation. It's great. Mm-hmm. I can't watch a full episode I just can't. I had roommates that were like that. Well, I found Initial D on Hulu. I say give it a watch.
I'll check it out.
I've watched it again, and I've made it through one full season, I guess you call it, or act, as they have it in their shows. I recommend it. It's a young guy. He's a tofu driver, or tofu delivery driver, and obviously with the Asian culture and stuff, you don't have other people come into your town and disrespect you, or they're all drifters on this mountain, and he goes and actually doesn't want to race or drift, but he's the best one in this town, and he goes up and beats these guys from another town, and it's just watch it.
All right, check it out. All right,
yeah, cool. It's got a really good storyline though. So that was the other thing. Is when I was younger, I never really appreciated the stories as much as I do now.
Well, that's the funny thing is I love like kung fu and martial arts movies in general, because you can't say kung fu, that kind of like limits you to China.
You're from Jersey. You're used to
well, that's what they used to call them back in the day, kung fu movies.
Yeah, they probably had a movie theater down the road from you that played kung fu.
Absolutely, 100% did. And I grew up in the time of like where 42nd Street had all the movie theaters, the grimy movie theater. Yep. But because right now Korea's coming out with just amazing movies. Yeah. Then we have Indonesia came out, like The Raid, things like that. We have martial arts movies coming out of everywhere. That's just brilliant. So for me, I'm surprised I haven't gotten into anime. It's something I haven't I don't know.
It was hard for me. I mean, I walked into one of my roommates. I won't say his name, Mike. I walked into him hanging out in his living room, and there was he had a huge TV, and he had a bunch of tentacles with wieners on them. And
that I won't get into.
But see, that's in my mind. So when I walked into that, and I see this little girl in a sailor outfit, and there's a bunch of wieners floating around on tentacles, it's like, okay, this is what anime is. It sucks. And I've never given it a chance. And
I've heard great things about the Boondocks.
Oh yeah,
stuff like that.
Actually, I have Boondocks on DVD.
Oh yeah, I want to check it out definitely. But I just never find the time to sit down and do it.
Yeah.
I have found anime movies that I really like. What's the studio? Knowledge-wise. I can't remember the name of it, but I gotta check it out. Because I do, especially Japanese cinema. I really enjoy it. I love the Godzilla movies.
Yeah.
And I mean, granted, I know a lot of people who are fans of this are probably listening. Anime just because it's Japanese doesn't mean it's Godzilla.
Not a cartoon.
I know that.
Yeah, we know this now.
I'm saying I have adopted so many Asian influences in movies that I don't know why anime is one thing I didn't get into. I definitely have to check it out, and I'll check out Initial D.
Yeah.
All right.
Initial D. It's on Hulu.
All right. Well, I think we talked about a lot. And, Kenny, you going to come back on the show?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, I'm going to have you back on the show. It's a lot more fun to talk about fun stuff, isn't it?
We have to plan earlier in the nights, though, because I'm sure my chick up there is losing her mind. And
we can absolutely plan for earlier.
Kids' bedtime is right now, I think.
Well, things are changing. Yeah. Things are 100% changing. I'm going to be doing the Scene Snobs. I'm going to be recording at a different time because there's a new show on Wednesday nights.
Oh, cool.
So we'll all get into that, everybody. With that being said, we'll talk about it when we get to recording again, because I want to have you back on the show. Sure. And I want to play some more games with you and get your perspective.
Yes.
But for that, this has been the Scene Snobs podcast. As always, I am your host, Mick Manhattan, the Scene Snob himself. And this has been my guest, Kenny Varnau, who is, again, I want to state my friend first.
Yes, thank you.
He is a tattoo artist. He is an artist, just paintings, drawings, everything. Graphic artist. And I forgot to mention this before, a hell of a photographer. I have one of his photographs hanging up in my bathroom because it's a conversational piece. Yeah. But you photoshopped the Death Star in it, and I loved it. and it looks brilliant. So thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks, man.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
I want you back on.
Yeah.
And so give us a like and subscribe. Follow us on YouTube. I'm at the Scene Snob on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We're also doing the Pulling Focus podcast. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, the whole thing. Pulling Focus podcast. We got so much stuff going on. Go to thescenesnobs.com. Everything's there. You can do the social media. You can listen to the shows. And Kenny, you got anything you want to plug? Your handle, anything like that?
My kid's cute. My chick's awesome.
Can't hard to argue.
I'm not trying to sell anything right now. I just
But if you can find him, like the A Team, try and hire him to get a tattoo. He's damn talented. Thanks again. This has been the Scene Snobs podcast yet again. We are sponsoring Lost Weekend, March 29th through 22nd, Alamo Draft House right here in Winchester, Virginia. Thanks a lot and have a great night. All right.
Awesome. It was awesome. So my knee just found that.
I don't think I've had a big guy in here before for an interview. That's all right. We will just keep rolling and I'll cut around it.
Yeah.
So we'll start over.
Figured.
You sit down so I can get us both in. All right. Wow.